Mysterious aircrafts have long been a subject of fascination and debate among believers, skeptics, and researchers alike. One particularly intriguing aspect of the phenomenon is the reported sightings of unidentified objects close to the Sun. These sightings have led to numerous theories about the possible reasons behind these occurrences. Sightings of mysterious objects near the Sun have been reported for decades, with some of the earliest accounts dating back to the mid-20th century. These sightings often involve objects that appear to be moving at high speeds or performing complex maneuvers near the Sun's surface. In many cases, these objects are observed by amateur astronomers or captured in images and videos taken by solar observation satellites, such as NASA's Solar and Heliospheric Observatory. The Solar and Heliospheric Observatory image library is accessible to all, allowing for exciting discoveries to be made. Recently, a particular photograph has been causing a stir online, with many unsure of its meaning and origins. Those who saw the image reported that it could be seen generating waves or ripples close to the Sun, and that behind the ripples appears to be a large circular object. Oddly enough, this isn't the first time that a circular object has been seen close to the Sun, and it's caused researchers to suggest that this could belong to an advanced civilization, saying that it may be a probe that was sent here to investigate signs of life, similar to what we are currently doing to other planets in the solar system. Various explanations have been proposed as to what this object may be, with theories ranging from abnormalities on the Sun to advanced activity. Some individuals theorize that these mysterious objects utilize the Sun's energy to fuel their spacecraft, which might explain the frequent sightings near the Sun. Even scientists have acknowledged that space is so vast that it is beyond human comprehension. Another possibility is that an intelligent species is using our Sun as a gateway. Some people who do not believe in the phenomenon speculate that the discovery is simply a sunspot. The various shapes and sizes of the unidentified objects reported near the Sun have led to speculation about their origin and purpose. Some witnesses describe them as metallic, disc-shaped objects, while others report seeing cigar-shaped or triangular crafts. The diversity of these reports has fueled theories ranging from advanced visitation to secret military projects. One popular theory among enthusiasts is that the objects seen near the Sun are spacecraft operated by advanced beings. Proponents of this theory argue that advanced civilizations may be harnessing the Sun's energy for various purposes, such as fueling their spacecraft or powering advanced technology. While this hypothesis has gained traction among some researchers, it remains speculative and lacks empirical evidence. Interestingly, although scientists tend to be careful with their wording when it comes to these types of discoveries, some have suggested that this might be possible, and point out that it's only been in the last 100 years that humanity has taken a keen interest in space, further saying that we still have a lot to learn when it comes to the discoveries of the universe. For example, it was only in 2019 that the first image of a black hole was taken. So some researchers have said that although these theories sound far-fetched, it's important to keep an open mind. Skeptics argue that many sightings near the Sun can be explained as natural phenomena, such as solar flares, coronal mass ejections, or sunspots. These events can produce unusual shapes and patterns when viewed from a distance, leading observers to misinterpret them as unidentified objects. Another possible explanation for sightings near the Sun involves image artifacts or optical illusions. Images taken by solar observation satellites, such as SOHO, can sometimes contain artifacts resulting from the imaging process, including lens flare, image noise, or data compression errors. These artifacts may be misinterpreted by observers. The study of mysterious sightings near the Sun is fraught with challenges, primarily due to the difficulty of obtaining reliable data and the lack of definitive evidence. The intense radiation and heat produced by the Sun make it nearly impossible to observe objects near its surface using conventional telescopes. Furthermore, the vast majority of sightings are based on anecdotal reports, which can be influenced by factors such as misperception, memory distortion, and cognitive biases. Additionally, the highly speculative nature of many theories surrounding sightings near the Sun has made it difficult for researchers to engage in rigorous, objective analysis. The lack of consensus among researchers and the prevalence of sensationalist claims in popular media have further complicated efforts to study this phenomenon scientifically. As of right now, mysterious sightings near the Sun and the diversity of reported objects and the various theories attempting to explain these sightings reflect the enduring fascination with the possibility of life and advanced technology. While definitive answers remain elusive, the study of sightings near the Sun serves as a reminder of the human desire to explore the unknown and understand the mysteries of our universe. Astronomers find barrier objects at the center of the Milky Way galaxy. Not a huge amount is known about the center of our home galaxy, the Milky Way. It is located 26,000 light-years away from Earth in the Sagittarius constellation and is densely populated with stars, featuring 1 million more stars per light-year than anywhere else in the whole of the solar system. But now a recent discovery has led astronomers to think it may be even weirder than we ever imagined. This finding emerged following a study conducted by the Chinese Academy of Sciences in Nanjing, where it seems as though some phenomenon is stopping fast-moving particles from reaching the center of the Milky Way. Not only are these particles fast-moving, but rather the fastest in the universe, making it all the stranger. The team used radioactive gamma rays, as they are the fastest, most energetic form of light possible and are formed when high-speed cosmic rays collide with ordinary matter. While these rays cannot be seen with the naked eye, scientists can measure the density of these rays and particles to determine their whereabouts. Therefore, by using these gamma and cosmic rays, the Chinese team mapped the paths and presence of each. What they found was that towards the center of the Milky Way, there seemed to be something accelerating the speed of these rays, so much so that they come very close to the speed of light itself. However, while this creates lots of these rays just outside the center of the Milky Way, for some unknown reason these rays do not make it to the actual center of the galaxy. Given the speeds at which the gamma rays travel up to this point, the fact that they do not penetrate through to the galaxy's core is bewildering, to say the least. There is no explanation detailing why this happens. However, researchers are calling it the invisible barrier, which they believe must be so dense and surrounding the center of the Milky Way that cosmic rays struggle to get through it. At present, this is the best explanation we have, but it will be fascinating to see what further explanations they come up with for this mystery barrier at the Milky Way's center. V830 Tauri radio emissions. Something that is 2 million years old might seem ancient to us. In space, being 2 million years old makes a star extremely young. At exactly this age, T Tauri V830 Tau is a star with a similar mass to Jupiter and a fairly circular 4.93-day orbit according to recent observations. The reason this star fascinates astronomers, though, is its seemingly sporadic and intermittent radio emissions, detected at 6 and 8.4 GHz. It is not strange for magnetized exoplanets to emit at various radio frequencies, as seen with V830 Tau. However, in this case, it is the first detected radio emissions from a planetary system outside of our own solar system which occurs around a star. Therefore, it has become a star of focus for many scientists, keen to better understand the interactions between this star and its planets. Modeling variables such as wind formation around the newborn host star, scientists at the likes of Harvard are conducting studies to simulate local conditions and the environment around V830 Tau. Their findings to date are quite complex and technical, revolving around data pertaining to stellar radii, maximum frequency emissions, and polar planetary magnetic fields. There are more simple things they have discovered too. Firstly, for these radio emissions to have been detected here on Earth, which means passing through host star winds, the magnetic field of V830 Tau and any nearby planets must be between 1.3 and 13 G. Similarly, they have been able to estimate thermal conditions based on wind factors, planetary radius, as well as likely orbital distance, thought to be 6.1 stellar radar, for those of you who are curious. Other reports cite the importance of such discoveries being those giant planets with a tight parent planet orbit, have recently been found to orbit younger, hotter stars instead. Being young, this would include the likes of V830 Tau. With so much more to learn and understand about this star, many are excited at the potential to find out more about planetary formations and migrations of new solar systems. Mystery object keeps orbiting our planet. In September of 2002, an odd object was first seen orbiting Earth. The strange object is at best 60 feet long with a rotation speed of an estimated 60 seconds. The first man to see it was Bill Young, a fledgling astronomer who saw it on September 3rd and dubbed it J002E3. Because it was unseen by automated asteroid surveys, it is believed that the object newly entered orbit in September of 2002, according to NASA's scientist Paul Chodas, who claims they would have caught it if it was in orbit before then. According to Chodas, the object does not match any spacecraft sent into space around that date. Simply put, NASA scientists have no clue as to what this object even is. 10-minute footage of J002E3 was captured by the Schiaparelli Astronomical Observatories, Andrea Aletti, who found it orbiting around the Taurus constellation, with its brightness depending on its rotation. Different images of the object show it in different ways, further baffling researchers. Alien enthusiasts claim it must be a UFO, though the rise in alien speculations was commented upon Chodas, who refuted them by stating, if it is an alien spaceship, the aliens aren't good pilots. J002E3 is in a chaotic orbit. It loops around Earth once every 48 days or so, coming as close to our planet as the Moon and ranging as far as 2 lunar distances. Unfortunately for alien theorists, there is a lack of evidence to suggest that J002E3 is moving with a personal power. It seems to move due to orbital gravity caused by the Sun and Moon. Bill Young initially believed that the object was a tiny asteroid, a perfectly sound guess, as most objects that pass Earth tend to be meteoric in nature, and it moved at an asteroid's average pace. Young even considered the concept of Earth having caught a new asteroid moon, as other planets in our solar system have been known to do. This idea was crushed when the paint was revealed. Astronomers found traces of colours that aligned with the same paint NASA used for Apollo rockets 50 years ago in the 1970s. This discovery suggested the object is in fact an old Apollo rocket journeying through our solar system, but that brings to question what it was doing for 50 years. Chodas believes the rocket was orbiting the Sun, saying, "I've traced the motion of J002E3 backwards in time to find out where it's been. I've never seen anything like this." According to Chodas's researcher, it was sent into space in 1971 and circled the Sun over 30 times before coming back into Earth's orbit. The problem? No pieces of the Apollo 14, which J002E3 was initially believed to be part of, were missing. When Chodas investigated the Apollo 14 mission, every part of the rocket was either returned to Earth or landed purposefully on the Moon, such as Apollo 14's SIVB, which landed on the Moon with the hope of monitoring lunar seismic activity. The strange object could not possibly then be a missing Apollo 14 piece. Chodas stated, "There is an outside chance that it might be one of the spacecraft Lunar Module Adapter SLA panels, although J002E3 appears to be too bright for one of those. Alternatively, could this be the SIVB of Apollo 12 of 1969? It is believed that the SIVB engine was turned on when the rocket was low on fuel, but it burned for too long and instead of circling the Sun, it ended up in a volatile orbit between the Earth and Moon, much akin to what happened with J002E3 decades later. Chodas indicated that it would likely leave Earth's orbit, and in June of 2003, it did. Alas, it is not lost just yet and is bound to return to Earth's orbit around the 2040s. Currently, it is circling our solar system on a galactic journey. By then, it is probable that humans might be able to go as far as to truly see what J002E3 is, a mystery still unknown to us to this day. even though the Apollo 12 SIVB is the leading theory during interstellar travels as we expand our reign to other places in our solar system. Unexplored Sarlacc pit cave discovered in Canada. It may sometimes seem as though we have explored, discovered and mapped out almost every element of the Earth. The fact remains that we aren't sure just how much of our world lies hidden and unknown, and surprising revelations are made on the planet every day. One such discovery occurred in Canada when officials conducting an aerial caribou count over alpine lands in a national park in Western Canada happened to notice the gaping mouth of a massive cavern as they flew overhead by helicopter. After initial investigation and analysis, it appears that the cave, which is breathtaking in its enormity, may have never been seen or explored by humans before, making the impressive entity a nationally significant find, according to John Pollock, an archaeological surveyor who was impressed with his recent visit to the site. He continued with his recollection of the site to Canadian Geographic by saying, "I've been in some of the biggest caves in the world, and this thing has an entrance that is truly immense, and not just by Canadian standards. When you're standing on the edge looking down into it, your line of sight is nearly 600 feet. And although you can see up to 600 feet, it has not yet been determined exactly how deep this incredible cave extends. A climbing team intent on discovering the true depths of the cavern, which has an opening that measures 100 meters by 60 meters, was only able to descend approximately 80 meters before their path was obstructed by an underground river that flowed through the depths of the mysteriously large cave. Upon further inspection, experts estimate that the cave extends down with the river for over 2 kilometers before emerging 500 meters lower. If this is true, this cave would be one of the biggest in Canada. Even more fascinating is the fact that experts believe that this cave, which was nicknamed Sarlacc's Pit after the Star Wars creature living in a similar abode, has likely remained hidden for most, if not all, of its existence, making those first explorers likely the first humans to have ever set foot inside of the cave. Experts studying the features and its location believe that it likely was covered in snow and hidden for thousands of years, possibly only being revealed as distant as the late 1990s, as rising temperatures as a result of global warming in the area caused widespread snowmelt. But how did such a massive shaft come to exist in the first place? It seems that melting ice from nearby glaciers likely carved the gigantic rift into the earth over the course of millions of years, meaning that during certain times of the year, the underground river is likely bursting with icy water carried from upstream snowmelts, a phenomenon that suggests possibly as much as 15 cubic meters per second of water rushing over the cave's edge. The exact location of the cave has been kept secret to preserve its natural beauty and any historic secrets that it might be keeping. It seems that even if its location were known, exploration of it would not be for the faint of heart. Pollock did reveal that this cave is truly in the middle of nowhere. It's out there in mountainous terrain, surrounded by glaciers and at the bottom of a 45-degree avalanche slope that rises 2,000 to 2,500 feet above it, meaning you can't go into it in winter. This is a wild place. But all the best discoveries are made in the wildest places, and this cave appears to be amongst the wildest of them all. Pope Francis says consumers today are too greedy. As thousands herded together to attend the Pope's Christmas Mass of 2018, marking the 6th Christmas of his papacy, the Pope warned his audience, St. Peter's Basilica, that an insatiable greed marks all human history, and that too many struggle to survive on the bare minimum, while a handful dine luxuriously at their expense. He went on to recount how Jesus himself had only been born in a stable, with no luxury, just poverty, and therefore suggested we take some time at Christmas while remembering Christ's birth to also reflect on the real meaning of life. He delivered his message about excessive consumerist habits, urging us to lessen our materialistic ways, to the almost 10,000 pilgrims who had travelled from across the world to gather in Bethlehem ahead of Christmas Eve. It was a symbolic message from a renowned figure, topped off by being in such a religiously loaded location, and reminds us of our duties to one another to treat others as we wish to be treated ourselves. By being too greedy and money-driven,
the Pope urged those listening to his Mass to focus on happiness from ourselves, rather than just capitalistic materialistic goods. Today, in 2021, we thought it fitting to reflect upon whether the Pope was correct in his announcement, and whether we are doing enough to rectify the path our society is headed in. Beyond the greed and gluttony the Pope spoke of, while the Vatican and Rome more generally saw increased security, his message also spoke of how new extremist groups spring up and target churches, places of worship, ministers and members of the faithful, aligned with how other Christian leaders worldwide were marking Christmas as a happier time after so much violence against fellow worshippers. It is becoming clear that defending the poor has become a hallmark of the Pope's papacy, as the Vatican also announced that they had given Rome a new homeless clinic where they could receive free medical care as a gift. With over 16,000 homeless in Rome and with many increasingly congregating near the Vatican, the Pope's pleas to us to think about others and to live simpler lives makes complete sense. A new discovery in Bulgaria has brought to light findings of the oldest known directly dated human remains. Up until now, ancient human fossils have been found across Europe, estimated to be between 41,000 and 45,000 years old. No small feat in itself. However, dates so far have only been estimated by using surrounding layers of rock and sediment from the fossil finds. In this new discovery, the fossils themselves have been dated and they are more than 40,000 years old too. In fact, carbon dating techniques have consistently suggested that these particular fossils could be between 44,000 and 46,000 years old. The exact findings from the Bako-Cairo cave of Bulgaria are a tooth and 6 bone fragments. This region, near the Balkan Mountains, has long been known for being richly packed with fossil remains, and it is not the first time it has been excavated. During the 1970s, the human fragments found at the time were later lost, it has now emerged. Nonetheless, the determined ages of these new finds, now more accurate than ever before, support pre-existing theories that our ancestors moved from Africa through to the Middle East about 50,000 years ago, and then across to Europe and Central Asia. Not only this, but they are now also the earliest known evidence of the Homo sapiens' presence in Europe. The discovery is even more remarkable upon further investigation. The team who found the human remains were at first only able to identify the human tooth. Jean-Jacques Hublin of the Max Planck Institute for Evolutionary Anthropology and leader of the research team adds that the bones were too fragmented to initially make out with the naked eye, and instead protein extraction methods had to be used for them to conclude that the pieces were of humankind. Older human remains have perhaps been found in Europe. There are debates in the archaeological community as to the veracity of claims that a 210,000-year-old skull fragment has been dug up in Greece, only a year before the Bulgarian finds. If true, this significantly outdated any previous finds and wreaks havoc on theories of human exploration and travel. Many scientists do not quite believe that the finds are human. Instead, some think it's more likely that the skull is from a Neanderthal, the species who inhabited the continent of Europe before us Homo sapiens. There is more to discover, both in this region and many other sites in Europe we have not yet found. Only time will tell which theories are correct and when human life emerged in Europe for sure. But what do you make of these recent discoveries? Be sure to let us know your thoughts in the comment section below and help us grow this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.